and I'm coming to you live from the Direct Selling University conference in a suburb of Dallas in Irving, Texas. And we've got kind of the whole direct selling industry descended upon Dallas these last couple of days. And so I've just stepped out of the conference to join you guys because you know what? You guys are more important than the conference. So, but I did want to tell you guys something. It was really cool. Yesterday, they had a CEO day, and there were, I think it was about 50 CEOs from different direct sales companies from, all different walks and talks of the industry. And it was an entire one day of moderated discussion, basically, not really presenters. It was more like topics and discussion, and you got to hear from all kinds of different companies doing all kinds of different things. And it was really interesting. I wanted to just share with you guys a couple of quick insights from that before I turn it over to Kristen today. And I do have one exciting announcement. Don't let me forget before I pass it to Kristen. But it was really interesting, and it always is as I surround myself with other leaders in our industry. There were two insights that I took away from it from a pottery perspective, and one is that we have something, as Kristen has identified for you guys, multiple times, so amazing, so incredible. Every one of these meetings, I always meet new people and introduce myself for the first time. And when people find out about pottery and that we are doing, pet, that no one else is doing that in this industry, and that pets are such a huge market, a growing market, a passionate space. People care deeply about their pets. They spend on their pets during good times and bad. All the wonderful things that we know about our products and our space. And you can just see the light bulb go on. They're just like, oh my gosh, this is an incredible company, incredible idea. So excited, for pottery and for everything that you guys are building. And so it's just fun to kind of see that light go on for people over and over. And again, every time I come to an event like this, there's always new people who haven't come before or have been either new to the space or new to this event. And I just think it's very validating. And I'm sure, again, you guys probably see some of the same thing in your conversations with people, but wanted to share that with you, just the excitement and the energy that when I talk to other executives, other leaders, other founders, other CEOs, and they kind of connect a couple of dots. All it takes is for them to connect a couple of dots on what we're doing, and they're just mind blown. And they're just like, holy cow, how has nobody done that before? And this is amazing. And you guys are onto something so exciting. So I hope you guys feel that. And I just wanted to share that energy that I'm getting here from this event. And the second thing that's really, I guess it's related, but that's been very validating is, there are a lot of headwinds in the industry. And it was interesting, yesterday in the CEO meeting, the moderator started by sharing some of the challenges and concerns that, there've been, Rodan and Fields just recently announced that they were leaving direct selling and moving to an affiliate kind of model, with no, team commissions. And there have been one or two other companies who have, either closed, Beauty Counter closed, just recently. And so, those are some of the things that we see in the headlines, and you guys probably see in the headlines and on social media and people that we know and care about. And it was just a very interesting perspective when the presenter on that topic shared the context of what's happening in the rest of the industry and how our industry is so alive and well. And sometimes headlines can kind of get misguided around just a couple of negative things and things that people get worried about because they're sensationalized, right? They're like, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, and everybody wants to talk about the sky falling. And it's like, let's talk about all the good things and wonderful things. And this presenter had done a great job showing the data in our industry and showing that, the handful of companies that are having some challenges represent, single digits in terms of the overall industry. And in every industry, you've always got some changes taking place. Somebody buys some company, and some company goes out of business, or some company gets in trouble with their financial debt and end up going bankrupt. That doesn't mean that the company, like Tupperware was the other one that announced their bankruptcy. And, somebody will buy Tupperware and they'll continue to exist in some way, but that's a more of a financial structuring than it is, that they don't have a good product or, something else. So it's just was interesting to kind of put it in context, which they did a really nice job yesterday. And this morning in helping us see that the industry is alive, it's well. Our industry has actually, the direct selling industry just in the US, between the products, the services, and because there's a lot of really interesting services, financial services and other services, but between the products and the services, are now over $50 billion in the US is sold through some form of direct selling. And that does not include, kind of just basic affiliate marketing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys as top of mind. It's been really energetic to be at this conference and meet so many people who are doing so many fun and exciting things, and to take ideas from them and share ideas from what we're doing with them, and just kind of help the industry become stronger and better and learn from one another. And I promised I would make an announcement, so I'll do that quickly. And I'm going to turn it over to Kristen and see if we can help continue to get some great traction in your businesses. I'm so proud of you guys for your huge commitment and what you're doing to work full time in your business for 90 days. And I can't wait to see what direction Kristen has for you today for this week. But I will say that a quick question. You can put your hand up, or you can just put it in the chat really quickly. How many of you have attended personally, and even better, have invited and had a guest join a recent PBO when Kristen participated with Aimee? We've done it twice now. And so just put in the chat if you've personally attended, and also if you were able to invite a guest, and if a guest attended. Because I know this group has been extremely supportive and proactive of that. And I know the first one we had nearly, I think it was 198 people on a Zoom for a PBO, and I know that's got to be a new record. I don't think we ever have had 198 people join for kind of a business opportunity meeting. And so I wanted to share with you guys that Kristen has agreed to do another one. So we will have Kristen and Aimee Johnson, our very own Aimee Johnson, who's right here as part of our Power Pack. And Aimee and Kristen will be the guest, and they will be doing another PBO on October 15th at that same 7 p.m. It's a Tuesday night, so very consistent with the past. Wanted you guys to have a little bit of heads up, so that today Kristen might reference that in some of your planning, but certainly wanted you guys to have the time to prepare for that and make sure that you've really taken advantage of that opportunity. I don't think, and Kristen, you don't even have to answer it if you don't want to, but I don't think Kristen has ever done this for any other company, and we feel very special. We feel very grateful, and so we should absolutely take advantage of it, not take it for granted, but rather take advantage of Kristen and her willingness and her passion and her vision that she sees for pottery and what she's trying to help us accomplish. So with that, Kristen, thank you for doing that once again, and I will turn it over to you.
You bet. All right, guys, good to see you. It's good to be back another week with you guys. I just recently got back from doing a keynote in Canada, and I got to tell you guys are something special. I get to be around a lot of companies, a lot of CEOs, hear a lot of things, and I've said this to you guys over and over again. You guys are a real gem in the industry. Roger's, hearing that as he is in rooms with people from many different companies. And, it's easy to take for granted when you have a good thing and not see the goodness in it and get quiet or complacent or comfortable. And I just want to remind you again, if you need to rewatch your the keynote I gave at your PAW Fest, or just re-listen to how your company is truly an uncut diamond, I want to keep reminding you of that so you stay focused on why you're doing this. So here's my plan for today. We have gone through a lot of the mechanics of what your activity needs to look like. And I find that sometimes with calls like this, people expect to come to the calls and then hear something new. And what I'm going to tell you is that staying consistent in this business isn't about throwing something new at it every single week. It's about being faithful and consistent with the mundane things that sometimes feel boring. It's about mastering the mundane, being a master of the basics. So, first of all, if you're coming to the call being like, awesome, Kristen's going to teach me something new. I'm not going to teach you something new because right as of now, the weeks leading up to this, I have taught you the foundational principles of how to connect. We've talked about how to find people, how to prospect people, how to post, how to engage with people. You understand the formula of why it's so key to be engaging with people daily, how to show up in your stories. Like we know the what. We know you all know the what. Oftentimes it's the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. So I actually want to coach on that gap today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're more than halfway through this, guys, and I find this is when people start to slip in their commitment to themselves. They start to make little, what I call micro negotiations. They're not big negotiations, they're small little negotiations. Instead of working, instead of doing 50 messages, you bring it down to 30 messages a day. And then, you might be like, well, it's just 20 less. Well, 20 less a day times five, that's 100 less a week. And we think like, oh, just like 20 less a day, it's not that big of a deal. But when we compound it over time, our micro negotiations tend to add up and really get in the way of our results. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring you back to what you want from your pottery business. Why did you sign up for the Power Pack? And what I don't want is, I like to call it like the Sunday school answer, when all the little kids are in Sunday school and they assume like all the answers are Jesus, God, whatever. Like, I don't want you guys to be like, because I believe in the vision of pottery. Like, I don't want lip service. I want a true answer from your heart. And I want you to take a moment. Don't be quick with this. I want you to reflect. We're going to take 1 minute. I'm going to time it on why you decided to sign up for the Power Pack. So one thing is like why you decided to, and what tangible thing you want out of it. I want you to name like, I want to see my sales go from X to X, or my team size to go from X to Y. Take a minute. I want you to write it down. Why you decided to join the Power Pack. Because this can't be about like, well, because Kristen's there and because Roger's there and I want to be around Roger. Like, Roger's a nice guy, but this isn't social hour. And I just want you to know how unique it is that you do have a CEO that works so closely with the field. I will tell you, as pottery continues to grow and scale and get big, because it will eventually, he probably won't be as involved in the field now. You can enjoy this now, but just knowing like, hey, if the company quadruples in size in the next couple years, which I know it will, take advantage of this time that you have a CEO that is so involved with you. But to say that that's your reason. So, go ahead, when you've thought about it, I would like for you to write it down. Okay. Karen, this is really good. I want to build my team so I could earn the trip this coming year. Okay. And then why stay in the activity after you go on the trip? What happens after the trip? Just something to think about. Because I know anytime I've done something like this that Pottery head office has put out, I've always launched my business. I'm really focused on excelling in my business and helping my team excel their businesses as well. I'm not sure if that's Joey or Joy. I think it's Joey. Is it Joey?
Joey.
Yep.
Joey, tell me why why do you want to excel in your business? I want, like, that still feels fluffy to me. Why does it matter to you that you excel in your business?
Because pottery is my main source of income and I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5.
Why? Why don't you want to go back to a 9 to 5?
Because that sucks.
Why does it suck?
I really want the freedom to be able to do the things that I really want to do. I've spent a lot of my life being trapped behind a desk or trapped in different places with nowhere else to go. And really it's the freedom of time, one of the biggest things, but also like financially, but then also I can be yellow at times and I really like to help other people. So coaching and teaching and helping others excel is a big part of me is too. But I'm blue, so
Yeah.
it's got to be fun and
Got to be
helping.
fun. Yeah. So Joy, tell me, if we were to like evaluate your last 45 days of actions and how you've been showing up for Power Pack, and we're not going to like, no, we're not going to judge at all, but do you feel like your actions have matched or mirrored your desire?
No.
Why not? Tell why. Let's unpack that.
Oh, great. Yay.
But you're not the only one. Show of hands if you also feel like your actions have not mirrored your intention or desire. Quite a few hands went up. This is why I'm coaching on this today. Okay, Joey, tell me, why do you think?
I know it's because being focused is something I've always struggled with. So it's like, okay, great. I'm going to sit down and this is what I'm going to do. And by the time I reach for my mouse, my brain's on something else. And
What?
so
Yeah.
having like the tasks and sticking to the task for even if it's 20 minutes, like the Pomodoro, like it's
Mhm.
still a struggle. But also like financially, I've had to do a lot of pet sitting over the last couple of months. And so it's a lot of coming and going. But when I do have the 15 minutes or an hour, like I'm tracking that and I'm putting in what I can. But when it comes down to it, it's really being focused and not letting myself get down a rabbit hole of, oh, I just scrolled for 2 hours looking for ideas.
Yeah.
It's making sure that I'm on point with what I'm actually doing and then catching myself that I'm off track.
You have a plan before you sit down with your mouse. Do you have a plan for like, this is what I find, guys, we have intentions, but do you have like at the end, I'm going to set a timer and at the end of an hour, I will have made 50 new connections.
No, I've tried it before. And
Why? Yeah.
again, it's just like, I will sit down and then there's a distraction of some sort, whether it's the
Okay.
barking that somebody got delivered,
Perfect.
or I let my messenger, even though I have it like off on mute and it's a put away, like it's still, oh, I need to go into messenger to check something. Or I have to
Perfect.
get on
Stop
my
here.
phone. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. When you say this to me, it's almost like you're surprised every time distraction happens to you.
Yeah.
Instead of having a plan for when I am distracted, like I'm going to work and I'm going to get distracted. But how you've said it to me is you're like, I just get distracted and then I don't know what happened. Like it very much happens to you and like you're a victim of your distraction. But I will say there's a couple things. Is one, I find that it helps with understanding, okay, I'm going to get distracted. What is my plan when I'm distracted? What I've noticed is there's this part of your brain that gets squirrely, that knows that there's discomfort in sitting yourself down to do a task. Your brain doesn't want to do the task. So what it's trying to do, your distraction is actually a form of self-sabotage. Your brain knows, okay, cool. If I could just bring up a distraction, what's going to happen is I'm going to remove her from the discomfort of having to sit through the urge or the emotional feeling of like maybe feeling confused for a minute. But what happens is you don't know how to sit through the feelings. And as soon as the distraction comes up, you go and chase it. So
Yeah.
Joey, what I want to encourage you to do is when you sit down, first, I need you to have like a conversation with yourself of like, because my brain knows what's up, distraction is going to happen in my first 5 minutes. Here's my plan. I am not to get up from this desk. I am to notice and sit with whatever feelings come up. You might think this is weird and counterproductive, but you're going to notice that when you aren't allowed to leave, run, go to your messenger, you're going to notice feelings come up for you. It'll either be like, you might feel like you're going to come out of your skin. You might feel very restless, very anxious, Am I right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just notice your brain is like, we don't like this feeling. Let's get out of this feeling. And so if you're like, cool, I'm going to go take care of a dog or I'm going to scroll, what that does is it actually numbs you to the feeling and gets you out of the income producing activity. So first you need to understand, okay, this is expected. My body is going to have I'm going to either experience a form of restlessness, anxiousness, tightness in my chest, maybe a little bit of nausea, normal feeling because I'm about to do something that my brain registers as uncomfortable. And I am not going to run away from the activity. I'm going to sit through it. You'll notice you're going to have to breathe through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I want you to give yourself a reward after 20 minutes being like, okay, I only have to do 20 minutes. And at the end of 20 minutes, this is what I will have accomplished at the end of 20 minutes. You have to give a measurable outcome. Otherwise, it's just busy. Otherwise, it's like, I'm scrolling for 20 minutes instead of like, at the end of 20 minutes, I will have done 5 messages sent. And at the end of that, first of all, what you're going to notice is you managed to override your nervous system, the urge to run away from uncomfortable things. This is just how we're wired psychologically and physiologically. This is why you know what to do. Guys, this is why when I'm like talking about like, hey, I've given you the mechanics of reaching out to people, but right now you have a brain and a nervous system. When you sit down to do the work, it goes haywire on you. It's like, you know what? So you're going to process the urge, all the uncomfortable feelings. You're going to go through 20 minutes and you're actually going to train your brain. What's going to happen is we're putting you back in charge of your brain. Because lately your brain has been running you.
Yeah.
You've just been chasing whatever distraction or whatever sounds good. And then at the end of it, you're like, what happened? I sat down to work and I don't know what happened. Right. And then we feel bad and then we feel shame. Shame is not invited to this conversation. We just have to understand the way our brain works. It's no different than like if we're teaching our kids homework and I notice like my daughter starts to have a meltdown. Oh, okay, hold on. We got to breathe. We got to refocus her and then she could do the work. It's no different for ourselves. Okay. So you're going to do that, set the timer, have the measurable outcome. Then as soon as you accomplish a measurable outcome, I want you to decide like you can spend 10 minutes, go walk, go move around, get the energy out of your body, scratch your dog, whatever, but give yourself some kind of dopamine reward. If that's like, okay, I'm going to go drink some ice water, walk around, or I'm going to let myself aimlessly scroll for 10 minutes, whatever it is. But just notice that your brain is often looking for some kind of reward, like cheap dopamine. Like, I just want to feel better. This isn't fun. Okay. So it's learning to like sit down and be like, kind of like going to the gym, being like, oh, like getting to the gym is hard. My first set of anything is horrible. And I just have to tell myself, it's okay. Like I have to tell myself all the time, like, Kristen, first step is just getting to the parking lot. Cool, we got to the parking lot. Okay, get inside the gym. Okay, we got inside the gym. Okay, go do one set of that. And typically, once I'm through the first set, then I'm smooth sailing. Okay? So this is why it's so important for you to understand like that your distraction, you are not a victim to your distraction. It's time to put your brain in charge. Okay? I'm going to ask you this too. There was one other thing that you mentioned in your day. You're like, if I got 15 minutes here, if it pops up here, I'm on the go. If this was a 9-to-5 remote job where you had to actually report into a boss, what would you do? How might your day look different?
I just wouldn't be taking pet sitting jobs that I have to do drop-ins and travel during the day.
Okay, but you got a laptop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're a remote worker and you can do pet sitting. How would it look like to be a remote worker 9-to-5 every day? What might your day look like if you were clocking into pottery?
I would have to be getting up earlier. I would say that to make sure I can get in everything I need to do. Because my usual set time is like from 11 to about 6, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So so I'll get up, I have my morning routine, and then depending on if I have to go somewhere to do pet sitting, but most of the time I'm here in my office from 11 till 7 o'clock, like I will be today, because I don't have
Okay.
anything.
Okay. So I don't care where your 8 hours is.
Yeah.
I'm sure Roger doesn't care either. It's just a matter of like getting it in. So, okay. You'd be at your desk 11 to 7, but what's happening from 11 to 7?
Oh, distractions. Like you said, I know what to do, but getting myself to actually do those tasks and stay, because like even if like I was just doing this to my husband Alex last night, we were having dinner, and within the span of just me talking to him for about 10 minutes, I talked about 7 different things, and he's just sitting there staring at me. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how my brain works all day, every day. So trying to focus on a specific task, or like, okay, today I'm going to do content creation, and that's what I'm going to
Okay.
focus on. And then next thing I know, I'm in like a Zoom meeting, and I'm like, wait, where did this come from? Like you said, the distractions are surprising sometimes.
But they're
it's
not. They don't have to be. I think you just have to decide, like, putting in time blocks in your calendar from like this time. Do you use a Google Calendar?
I do, and
Okay.
I've definitely tried the time blocking before, and it's not how my brain works. And so there's an 10x is easier than 2x. He has
Yep.
more like focus days, buffer days. So that was working for a while until life got super busy, and now I haven't been able to get back into focus.
Okay. I'm going to bring it to your attention again.
Give it to
Things
me.
keep happening to you.
Okay.
You're like, life got super busy. That's
Yeah.
just life.
Yeah.
So I would say, what is a sustainable way for you to work, Joey, so that even when life is busy, you're working? Here's the thing. This is what I think is really tricky with the network marketing direct sales space is everybody's like, I want time freedom, but you actually have to put in a lot of time to earn time freedom. And what you have actually is time flexibility. Whereas if you did have to report into a job, you'd have to clock in at 9 and be done at 5, and you'd have your set hours. But you can decide when your hours are. You can decide where to work. The problem is I think your brain is like, oh, this is great. Flexibility. I can work when I want, how I want, or when I feel like it, or when my brain is deciding to focus.
Yeah.
Okay. What would it look like to make your work non-negotiable, even when it feels uncomfortable? Like I say this to you as somebody with diagnosed ADHD. And so I do not use my ADHD as like, I can't because of my brain. My brain doesn't work that way. Instead of like, all right, well then how do I work with my brain and the work still gets done?
That's what I would love to know, because I've tried lots of different things, and nothing seems to stick, it just.
Because I can tell you why. Because you're not willing to stick with discomfort.
Okay.
With like, what if I were to tell you you need to grow your tolerance for boredom and mundane things? Because by the way, ADHD brains do not like that. We want exciting. We're looking for input that's stimulating. I don't know if you need a fidget spinner while you're doing boring and mundane things. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. But it's
I
just
had
like,
my cat like nail clipper over here, and
find something. But your brain is like, you're very much like, okay, but my brain, I've tried many things and it doesn't stick. It's like, part of that is because you have to be willing to sit in the discomfort of doing things that we don't feel like doing. And
Yeah.
I think your brain, when you start to feel that, just brings up other things to do. And you actually haven't learned to discipline yourself and be like, all right, what I'm feeling right now, before you go and distract yourself, you need to be like, what I'm feeling right now is boredom. And what my brain wants to do is find something fun to do instead of doing something that actually is boring or not fun or not very gratifying. There's no instant gratification in this game, and ADHD is all about instant gratification. You don't get it in this business.
Okay.
Joey, find something else for instant gratification. I don't know if it's like during your business hours, you got your business and be like, I don't play instant gratification in my business. I play the long game. I'm willing to do boring. I'm willing to do mundane. I'm willing to do annoying. Outside of my business hours, I'll do the things that where it is a quick fix, where it's like I can cross stitch and see an end result. I'm painting by numbers now, guys. Like that's my hobby on the side because I want to see like I get to see a finished product and it's very gratifying for me. It's instant gratification. I paint all the ones and I can see a noticeable difference. Okay? So Joey, find something else. Find your dopamine outside of your work. But
Yeah, I
right
do.
now your brain's like,
Yeah.
it just can't be doing this game. Otherwise you are going to keep bouncing around.
Okay.
How do you show up for work like when you don't feel if you had a 9 to 5, if this was your 9 to 5, how would you get your work done if you had to report to somebody at the end of the day?
I think I did. I don't know.
What would be different?
I'd have better results. If I
Why?
had to.
Why would you have better results?
Well, I do think that if I have to report to, if there's like something, I guess, on the line, or if there's,
Ah,
yeah, which I know that there is for like financially or where we want to be as a team or as for me, like, yeah, that's the line. But that's on the line. But because it's just for myself, it's on the back burner and not as important.
why? This tells me, I'm like, why is there not urgency? Like, what's on the line here? Because I think this is why you're comfortable getting distracted with other tasks because I don't think you see the pain or feel the pain. Because, like, if you were at a 9 to 5, you'd feel the pain of getting fired.
Right.
Okay. So, what's the pain here? This is why it's not getting done because I don't think there's pain for you. I think you're comfortable.
No, there is. Like my paycheck's not where I'd like it to be, especially like so.
You're fine. Your bills are paying. You're picking up
No.
pet sitting jobs.
No, I mean, I'm having to go and do other things. But so we went viral and we had really great paychecks for about 2 years. So I didn't really have to work. Now I have to actually get back to doing the things. And I got very comfortable not having to do the things.
Okay.
And now I'm like, crap.
You did a crash diet for prom. You lost the 20 pounds, fit in the dress, went to prom. And then you're like, cool, prom was fun. I'm going to go back to eating donuts and sitting on my butt all day. And then you were surprised that weight came back.
Yeah.
Because the habits that got you to lose the weight, you stopped doing the habits, just like the habits that got you the paycheck. You stopped doing the habits.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still going to argue just for argument's sake, hear me out. You're getting some tough coaching and you're doing a really great job. Thank you for being so vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's some part of you that's okay with where you are right now.
Okay.
You want to know how I know that?
How?
Because you get ish done.
Yeah. Which we can get it done. Yeah.
But even you're like, yeah, my behaviors haven't matched what I want. And I'm like, because there's some part of you, I would say, that doesn't want it bad enough. I know, but this is the conversation we have to have with ourselves.
I know. I need the swift kick in the pants.
You do, because I think there's some part of you that's like, I could pick up a pet sitting job here and there. It's not my favorite. It's not great. There's some part of you that like doesn't feel a sense of urgency with getting the work done.
Yeah.
And so it's made you comfortable with making negotiations with yourself. Because you're like, yeah, something's on the line. I was like, well, you're not acting like it's on the line. So is it on the
line? It is, yeah.
Okay. What happens if things don't change? If you don't get your paycheck up, what where I want you to fast forward 6 months from now, because often we're so you're caught in the day to day, which is why it's okay for you in the moment to let yourself get distracted, because you just see today instead of like, all right, 6 months from now, what is your reality if this does not change?
Not good.
Give
Not
me
good.
more clear than that. Your brain's like vague. I'm like, no, I want you to paint the picture for me, because what we're trying to do is introduce discomfort
Mhm.
so that the discomfort of you doing the work is nothing compared to the discomfort of you not doing the work down the road of those results.
Yeah. My mortgage wouldn't be paid. Because
Okay.
that's what Portree pays for right now. So, yeah.
And then what would happen?
I mean, we'd figure out a way, but yeah, it's not. Yeah. Not good.
Okay. Okay. This is good. Now for me, I'm like, all right, girl, your mortgage depends on you showing up. Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So why are we negotiating with your mortgage every day?
Because I don't know. I want it to be easy and it's not easy.
Oh, you know why? Because you got a taste of easy.
Yeah. A really good dose of 2 years of easy.
Did you enjoy it?
Very much so. Yeah.
Those days are gone. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you had fun. It's done.
And I want it back.
You don't. Oh, this is so good. This is now I think we're actually seeing what's happening here.
Yeah.
What you experienced was the lottery, not business. You're now experiencing business, Joey. This, what you are experiencing right now and how it feels, this is business. It was easy to sign up for business when it felt easy. And I think there might be a part of you that keeps waiting for like, maybe I'll go viral again and it gets to be easy again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How's
That's
that working out?
Well, not great.
No. And then what happens with your team when they see that?
They struggle too.
What do they internalize about your business?
Oh, I don't know. Well, if
They
she,
think
I don't know.
what?
I don't know.
Say it. Go ahead. You were there.
If she's not successful, I can't be successful. I don't know.
Okay, but they saw you have success. So what
Yeah.
might they attribute? What might they think about their success?
That they have to go viral in order
There
to
you
be
go.
successful.
That this business is about going viral instead of doing the work. This business is about getting lucky instead of working hard. And I think maybe you've been buying into that story too. Okay, Joey, what if this is business now? What if this hard, frustrating, what if this is business? You still want it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know the potential, I know where we're going. And in the future, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
Okay. So what
I
if
know-
every time
yeah.
you sit down to work, you actually sit down and tell yourself, like, it feels hard because it is. And it's supposed to be hard. And that's okay. I actually think you've been in resistance to it being hard. Like, why is it this hard? It shouldn't be this hard. It used to be easy. Why can't it be then?
Yeah.
When will I catch my break? Maybe I'll go viral again so I can get rescued out of this hard work. Oh. Your business is going to keep doing this if you continue to believe that. Imagine you okay, hear me out. Imagine you putting in all the hard work, and then if you do go viral again, then what?
Really great.
What if it doubles your return? Because you put in all the work prior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's continuing to do the hard things. So
Yeah.
that after the viral wave, it steadies out and doesn't go down.
Yeah. What if we just sign up for hard? Is life hard? Are you surprised when life is hard?
No.
Okay. What if business is hard and we stop being surprised when business gets hard? Do you think you can get on board with that?
Yeah,
Listen, you gotta sign up for
easy.
the hard because you know what? If we only sign up for the easy, we only work when it's easy. And that's 2% of the time.
Yeah.
Guys, 98% of the time, my work is hard, boring, and mundane and thankless. 2%, it's fun, exciting, and invigorating. I think you have an inverse relationship in your mind. Like 98% should be fun and exciting and easy, and 2% should be hard.
Yeah, if it's fun, it's easier to do.
Okay, so how can you make work fun?
Zoom calls, like power hours with other people, because then I can be like, this is what we're focused on. And if I have accountability of other people like on watching me, like
Brilliant. Okay, love this. Have you done that yet?
Yeah, I was just actually on a power hour with two of my girls before this.
And did you walk away having had work done?
A little bit, but not much.
Oh, then what were you doing on the power hour? Was it just chatty hour? Caitlin,
well-
are you on her power hour? Caitlin, are you and her team? I see Caitlin like shying away out of the box, like hiding. And I'm like, oh, Caitlin's on her team. Caitlin, what happened in the power hour? What was going on in the power hour?
I mean, the first 5 minutes we were a little chatty, but it was more Brett and I were asking questions to help our teams, and Joey was helping us rather than Joey was doing her own work. So, like, it was kind of our fault.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what about you? Did you get your work?
It was all work, and we were working, but she was helping us work our businesses over us helping her work her business.
Okay, so what would it look like at the end of every power hour? Every single person has to have a measurable outcome of what they produce in the hour. Like, hey, everybody, we're going to bulk. The first 30 minutes is we're all going to get 20 messages sent and a post for the day done. The second half hour is we're going to do Q&A. We're going to do posting audits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I really encourage this for everybody that runs power hours with their team. You have a measurable result at the end of the hour. Hey guys, welcome to power hour. At the end of our time together, we will get 20 messages sent, our posts batched for the week, and 10 follow-ups. You guys got to structure this. Otherwise, it's like, hey, what are your thoughts about this? And then we're just talking strategy and nothing actually gets done. Or Joey, you're helping people, but your business continues to suffer.
Yeah. Which I've done both. Like there was, I have had like Canva graphics that are up on the screen of like, this is what we're doing for the power hour, and nobody really talks to each other. So I do have some of those, but yeah, it was kind of like a last minute. Brett and I were supposed to go to a coffee shop. She had a sick kid. Yeah. So I was like, let's just jump on. And I hadn't seen Brett in forever. So
yeah,
I was like, we need to.
I like the idea. Use those Canva graphics. I want you to dial in and I want you to ask yourself, how can I make the process fun? Because right now your brain is like, the only thing that's fun is outcomes. And if I'm not getting outcomes fast enough, I'm not going to show up for the process.
Ding, ding, ding. That's
yeah. I want you to come up with process goals. Like, this is the process I'm going to commit to today. The process of sending 50 messages. At the end of the process, I'm going to reward myself with, I don't know what you look forward to every day. If you have like, I have my afternoon coffee every day at 1:00. It's my favorite thing. I get all kinds of dopamine from it. You are not allowed to have that unless you have done your process work. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, one of my things in my fitness journey, one of my things was like, I scroll and I made a rule for myself because I had to do steps every day. I'm like, I'm not allowed to, if I'm scrolling, I'm strolling. I was just like, all right, if I'm on my treadmill, I'll scroll. Like I have to get that. That was part of like my health producing activity. It's like an income producing activity. So maybe for some of you, you're like, I like to be on my treadmill every day. Cool. You can do connections. You can write a post. Guys, I've gotten work done on a treadmill before. We just have to be creative. All right. Joey.
Yeah.
Your job is to sell yourself on the pain.
Okay.
Your job is to sell yourself on the process. Because right now your brain's like, I like the outcomes. I like the fun. I like the party. Yeah. That comes about 2% of the time. 98% is the process, the mundane, the thankless tasks, and nobody saying thank you. Okay. Can we all like give a huge round of applause for Joey for being such a great example today of like, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for letting me coach you so hard. You got hard coaching, girl, but you showed up so well for it. And I want to like acknowledge you, like you're here. And I'm so glad you're here. And I want you to know you can turn this around. You can get exceptional results, Joey. But instead of like thinking this is just, I want you to think about like what's actually on the line for me, because there's some part of you that's comfortable negotiating with yourself every day. And you got to get to that place where you're like, I'm done negotiating with myself, because if I had a boss to report to, what would I do? But because you're reporting to yourself, you're letting yourself slide.
Yeah.
It's so funny. In this business, we're like, boss, but nobody wants to boss themselves. Nobody wants to actually like have the hard conversations with themselves and look in the mirror and be like, did you clock in today? Did you do your things today? Go back to your desk and do your work. Like, like we just have a hard time bossing ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, Joey.
Thank you.
I have to just quickly jump in because I know both of you have not had a chance to look at the chat very much, if you have. But Joey, everybody is just so complimentary of you taking the bullet for all of us, because I think there's a lot of people who are relating to this conversation right now, and I think there's a lot of value that people are getting out of you being willing to be real and vulnerable. And Kristen, I think those are awesome and tough questions, and also for your willingness to ask the tough questions and like dig underneath the surface, because everybody who is here is showing up for a reason. You all decided to do this, and there's something under the surface that you really desire, or you wouldn't be showing up week after week and putting the work in. And I will tell you, my biggest desire out of this whole power pack is that you guys see meaningful results from the effort you're putting in. And you can't get that if we don't really be honest with ourselves. So Joey, thank you for doing that. Back to you, Kristen. I just wanted you guys to know that because you probably hadn't seen the chat.
Yes. Here's what I want to, because I think this resonates with every single person. Because I asked at the beginning when I started coaching Joey, I'm like, all right, whose actions are not aligning with what they say they desire? And a lot of hands went up. And what we have to actually realize, guys, is when we aren't doing the actions, when we're negotiating out of the daily actions, which by the way, you're just negotiating away from the temporary discomfort of the action. Eventually, guys, you do the action enough, it's not as uncomfortable anymore. I remember the first time I went to the gym and I hadn't lifted in years, like I could not walk for 3 days after the first gym. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going back. That almost killed me. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go back. And here's the thing. And the first time I went, I was just doing squats. I couldn't hold weight, but I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And then I kept showing up and my body built tolerance for the weight. And eventually I was able to get my form, and then I was able to add the weight. And then I wasn't uncomfortable sore for 72 hours. I would be sore for 48 and then 24 and then 12 hours. And like, there still is a part of me where I'm like, oh my gosh, being a healthy person means I'm always going to be sore on some level. And that's good because it means I'm putting my body to work. And so it's the same thing with your business. It's like, sign up for soreness, sign up for discomfort. Don't go to the gym, go to your business and be like, hey, you guys, I think I've talked about this person before, but like I have a gym and there's these ladies that go to the gym all the time and all they do is sit in the lobby in their gym gear and drinking coffee. And they go to the gym 5 days a week, but they ain't sore. They're sipping coffee. They're in the building. They're scanning their memberships and they would say, oh, I'm going to the gym, Kristen. And if I was to actually look at what they're doing in the gym, they're just drinking their coffee. You guys, you can't just going to your business and scanning your membership and having coffee on Zoom calls isn't like, that's not what's going to create change. I want you to clock into your business and say, today, I'm signing up to feel a little sore. That picking up these weights, writing the post, I'm going to feel strain in the activity. But some of you are surprised when you feel strain. Like, I should feel strain. This should be fun. Look, get me on the treadmill watching TV at a pace of 2 miles an hour. That's what I want. And I want to lose 50 pounds doing it. Friends, it doesn't work that way. We have to sign up for saying, like, you know what? When I clock into my business, I am opting in to soreness, to discomfort, to some temporary pain. And as I get stronger in the activity, I build my capacity to add more weight. I build my capacity to talk to more people, to make better posts, to have more sales conversations. But we have to put the reps in, friends. So when you're putting in the reps and your brain is like, this is hard, this is uncomfortable, what's that over there? Is there a different form of equipment that I can use that doesn't cause pain? Friends, every single thing in the gym, if you use it right, causes pain. There's pain everywhere. And I also want you to know, pain, you guys have to understand there's pain on both sides of the equation. There's pain in you doing the activity, and then there is pain for you when you don't. But here's the thing, it's delayed pain. Like being somebody who doesn't take care of ourselves, like not going to the gym today doesn't really affect me. I'm not in pain. 30 years of not going to the gym, not taking care of myself. Now I'm having doctor visits. It's hard for me to get out of a chair. It's hard for me to walk upstairs. That's pain. But we're not thinking about that today because 30 years feels really far away. It's the same with our business. We're thinking like, oh, this is painful, this is hard, but we're not thinking about 6 months from now and the pain of not paying our mortgage, the pain of having to go to a 9-to-5 job that we don't actually like, the pain of reporting to somebody else for our hours, the pain of having to pay for your dog food, which you're like, I really enjoyed it when it was free, right? There's pain. You guys have to decide what pain you want. For me, I choose the pain today because pain gives me ease and comfort later. I think about that. Every time I do a squat, I'm like, it's fine. Because when I'm 70, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not going to need the handicap rail to sit down when I go pee. Like that to me, I'm like, that's why I'm doing this. You guys have to remember, why am I doing this? Why am I getting uncomfortable on purpose today? We have to go there. It's the same for your business. And so some of you need to actually look at, why am I doing this? Why is the daily pain worth it for me? And if I don't do this, I actually need you guys to get very comfortable. Like I asked Joie, I was like, Joie, 6 months from now, what if nothing changes? And she's like, well, it's going to be hard. I was like, no, paint a very vivid picture for me. She's like, I won't be able to pay my mortgage. I said, and then what? She's like, well, then I might have to go to a job. Why I was having her describe that was so that she could actually see the pain. It's no different if like, hey, if you don't go to the gym, you're like, nothing changes. I'm like, cool. Let's paint a vivid picture of your future if you don't. All of you need to paint a very vivid picture of your future if you don't show up for pain today. All right? Is everybody signing up for pain? Be like, no pain, no gain. It's true. Like, it's hard selling pain to people. Everybody wants fluff. I realized that for a long time in my business. I was like, everyone's like, can we talk mindset and affirmations and give me strategy? I'm like, cool. I give everybody the mindset and the strategy. And at the end of the day, what I got to actually sell people on is pain. It's fun, but it's worth it. Back to you, Roger.
Wow. Holy cow, Kristen, that was so fantastic. I think it was so needed for so many, just watching the comments. And I think it's interesting because, you guys, I mean, again, you've made a commitment to be here. You made a commitment to yourself. You made a commitment to me, but most importantly, you made a commitment to yourself. And there's a reason for that. There's something that you want, that you're willing to work to get it. And I think this insight today, Kristen, that pain has to be felt in the process. And sometimes we convince ourselves that we don't want to feel that pain, and we find distractions and other ways to soothe the pain. And all we're doing is procrastinating the pain to something probably greater pain down the road. And I think it's such a caring, loving, direct message to help people have the wake-up call, because otherwise it's too late, right? 6 months from now, if something doesn't change in Joey's situation, if that's the case that she shared, they have to sell their house, or she has to go get a regular job. And now she's got all the discomfort of that. There's a lot of discomfort that could come from that. And recognizing, I think it's just so profound to recognize that pain is part of the process, and that's okay. And I wrote down a little quote here that I heard, Kristen say. I just kind of summarized it in the chat. The discomfort of doing the work needs to be far less than the discomfort of not doing the work. And what's at stake? We need to ask ourselves the question, what's at stake if we don't do the work? What's at stake, and how painful would that outcome be for us? And if we can use that to motivate us to do the hard work today and feel some pain today, but work through that because of the greater pain that and everybody's situation is different. But I think those are the questions that if you, I really hope that you each take a minute and really imagine Kristen asking those same questions to you that she asked to Joie. And I think, we were all there for Joie and supportive, and I loved the community, the feeling and the community of support, Joie, that you got from everybody during that, including myself. I was just, I just was absolutely thought you were fantastic to go through that on behalf of all of us. And by the way, I think there will be some real benefit for you and for everybody else. I hope you do the process yourself, that you ask yourself those same questions, and that you really get to your not superficial answers, but your really deep answers to say, okay, there is some pain, and here's how the pain manifests in my life and why I procrastinate it or go around it or choose ways to soothe it, and don't really, sit in it and do the work, because it is. And I hope that each one of you can take that away for yourselves, and not just, wow, Joey did a great job today, and on to making up excuses for ourselves for the rest of the week. But how does that apply to me, and what can I do to sit in the pain today of the work so that I can have a different kind of tomorrow? And I'm just honored, you guys, that so many of you are committed to doing this, and that you have dreams and visions that are bigger than where you are today, and things that hopes and dreams of things that you want to accomplish that are more than what you have today. And I have no doubt that together, that this business opportunity, that our products, that this community, that this coaching you're getting from Kristen, this wonderful power pack, that honestly, they can be an absolute answer to those things. So keep with it, do the work, stick with the pain. And I am excited for next week. I really am excited for next week to find out how many of you were really able to recognize the pain, sit in the pain, move forward to the pain, reward yourself after 20 minutes of sitting in the pain, and actually saw movement this week in not making excuses for ourselves anymore. I love it. Can't wait to chat next week, and we will see you all next Tuesday. Thanks again, Kristen.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone. No pain, no gain.